So this killer is the unconscious thoughts from a group of people that ends up taking the form of evil, not a he, she, or they, but an it. Something that was almost made purposefully and exists as an amalgamation of their evil thoughts, which is basically my way of saying this killer is effectively behavior's self-insert. The Dredge is a killer that seems to exist specifically to address the DBD community's concerns, one with uber map control and a power to deny loops easily. It is effectively everything the people who enjoy DBD want. Not busted, not terrible, which is important because the community has been abusing themselves pretty hard recently. They've even resorted to playing the Evil Dead game. I'm sorry if this video is a bit out of nowhere. I was making a big boy one, then I got hella stressed out. I need to reset with something small and quaint, which is great because this anniversary event was both of those. It promised a ton of stuff that people wanted. Preset loadouts, so I don't have to waste as much time recounting the alphabet, and a dating sim that I'm trying not to acknowledge. And they inverted the menu. For nothing else but fun. Cause change makes things look sleek, I guess, even though it's functionally the same. A thing to admire for no reason in particular. That leaves time for this video's sponsor, Footmouse.
Introducing a revolution in gaming. Footmouse, the first science-based gaming mouse made for feet.
I've been using Footmouse since 2017, but not on land. There's a lot of controversy as to whether or not Footmouse should be termed legal. It's just such a huge advantage, but it's still all about skill. Footmouse just raises the skill gap. It's a whole different level of play.
Footmouse, get your foot in the game.
Oh, you thought that was it? No, you sweet idiot. This video is actually sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is a dark fantasy mobile game. At this point, I think you get the idea. Raid in the campaign with an army of unique champions based on a gritty medieval world. Enjoy both PvP and PvE in turn-based combat while working with specialized classes and more. Or get yourself some of the best champions from over 13 different clans, meaning Arbiter, really. Raid is also releasing its newest champion for the anniversary. The character is completely free, you just gotta play once a day for a whole week. So what are you waiting for? If you're a new player to Raid, this is the best time. If you click my link in the description, you get access to $40 worth of gifts. We're talking 3 champions and almost 30 brews to help get your champions up to speed. Also, once you get in, use the code MYDELANIA to instantly get 50 XP brews, letting you max out any character to the highest level possible. These rewards can be found by clicking the box right here. Again, link in the description, and thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. The Dredge's power lets him enter the gloaming. The gloaming? What the fuck is a gloaming? It is the pretentious version of dusk, twilight.
The golden hour.
When you start to gloam, you create a remnant at the exact spot you are. During this, you are slow, and I mean wheelchair on the wrong escalator slow, though you can still move in a normal way. By left-clicking, you will return to this remnant in an instant. The ability is a Translocator. You can quickly hop back to the remnant to cut someone off, but you can stop gloaming by just releasing the button, letting you hold both spots of that loop at once. Pretty decisively too, unless when the survivor runs it looks like this. Survivors can see the remnant, and if they touch it, it goes away, giving them some options to deal with you. But your ability to be there so quickly means that rushing it is probably not a smart idea. I feel like that's not really the bit everyone thinks about when they imagine the Dredge. No one's fault on that. People have wanted a killer that could teleport to any locker for a good long while. This, similar to the remnant part of the power, triggers when you activate the gloaming. It also gives you map control beyond anything I've ever seen. This killer can do anything, everywhere, whenever he wants. The cooldown on the teleport has to remain short to accommodate its use in chase. Resource management is also a part of this killer, but far more on the survivor side. Each locker has a lock on it. Survivors can do a quick interaction to slam it shut. If the Dredge teleports to this, it'll take an extra second to emerge from it. If you come across these in the open, you're free to smack the locker to remove it that way. You can't just lock every locker you see though. It's a good way to deny the locker when the killer needs it, just don't try it when the killer's coming. It'll instantly grab you because this game is the worst. But outside of that, you only get one try on each locker, so save it for when you're doing a generator. Then there's the Nightfall. This is a timer that drenches the map in darkness when it's full. Nightfall grows while the match goes on, gaining a multiplier for every injured and hooked survivor, as well as jumping a little bit when you teleport. Nightfall does, not much. I don't know. I'm always wrong about something, but this seems a little not good. And yes, I am very sorry I said the Huntress was a purchasable character. You could stop telling me! Nightfall darkens survivors' screens, reducing their view to 32 meters, removing your heartbeat and doubling the speed at which you move between lockers. The 60 seconds of undetectable is nice depending on the map. A small shader, on the other hand, is kind of like being on an escalator going nowhere. Also, for once, it's a status effect that the killer gains knowledge of and not the survivors. I don't know if that actually makes any sense, but here are the killers who have status effects that only the survivors get to know about. What do you know? It's all of them. Musically, this chapter isn't my favorite either. I crossed my little leggies and took a listen, but walked away with nothing. The worst impression one could have. If it's not going to be a rockin' jam, the best it could be is that it sounds like a broken washing machine. Straddling the line and ending up forgettable is the worst. No, the real problem is that you gotta hear wailing during the entire Nightfall. People from the spooky void inside the killer who finally get some attention. Ooh, ooh, we're damned to internal suffering inside a deep blackness with no start or end. Making something spooky in this game is tough because it's gotta be ready for 4,000 hours of repetition. And if I hate it by the PTB, that's probably a problem. Though they've repaired the washing machine before. Now we get to the perks. And I could do the standard. Instead, I would like to tell you a story. About an idiot. Earlier this year, I did a stream where I made my own killers. It was a blast trying to get that creativity out with chat by my side. While doing this, I made a killer called the Avatar. The general concept was, whatever was behind this mask, it was so infernal, so unknowable that it drove you mad. Every now and then, it would summon a darkness that would obscure the player's vision, but that's beside the point. Fast forward the next few days, and the chapter is leaked, because it always gets leaked. Something about reading the killer's power felt so plastic. Like, oh yeah, I can imagine this. I type boring, discard it. Then someone replied saying that I should wait for the chapter, wiggling their eyebrow with a sinister ferocity. Yeah, okay, buddy. Then, at some point, while in a Stop and Shop parking lot, I feel a weird unease. Why would someone tell me to wait? I saw some notifications on the killers I posted, so I check it again. Oh yeah, my perk where, as long as a hex is up, survivors who vault pallets break them. That'd probably be cool. And one where survivors who heal also get the Mindbreaker effect. I can imagine cool builds fitting into I'm silly beyond, but I ate my chicken fingers cold that night. I deserved it. This leaves me with the baffling realization that maybe I just don't like things because they aren't my idea, and that my own biases affect me more than I'm happy with. Well, also maybe it's just the specifics that make it suck. You ever thought of that? Take Dissolution, for example. This perk triggers when a survivor loses a health state. After a small wait for the next 30 seconds, any vaults in your terror radius will break the pallet. In my multiple games using this perk, Dissolution never triggered. This is the PTB, mind you. I'm playing against goldfish and YouTubers with bullying the Dredge with toxic Nia, burning in their necrotized imaginations. When survivors get hit, they tend to use that burst of energy to reach a new loot, wherein which the cycle begins again with a new pallet. I guess it's nice that this affects everyone, not just your chase target. But I gotta see it on other killers, cause on the Dredge it proved those YouTubers right. Next up is Septic Touch. This blinds and exhausts survivors that heal in your terror radius. It also pauses things, so I hear. I wouldn't know because the description doesn't fucking tell you. Then you've got Darkness Revealed, which has the gall, the idiocy, to be kind of alright. This perk triggers when you open a locker. Any survivors in 8 meters of a locker get their aura revealed to you. A lot of people misread this and assumed it was just the locker you opened, so I need to reiterate, this is every single one on the map, and syncing this up to lockers gives it a lot of flexibility, from getting a good start at the beginning of a match, or finding someone during the endgame collapse. The big issue is that you have to remember you have it, to set a 30-second alarm on your phone to say it's okay to search a locker again. Every time I've done it, Darkness Revealed has helped me out. This does bring up an RNG element, as this killer is going to be affected by the locker placement by the AI. Lockers in the game are usually pretty plentiful, so I'm not worried unless it's one of the maps where I'm worried. Then you've got the red add-ons, both of which contribute to the Nightfall. The Sacrificial Knife allows you to block nearby windows when exiting a locker. Asterisk during Nightfall. If you factor this in with the faster teleport, I can genuinely see you getting some use out of this. The Bloody Plank exposes survivors during the last 12 seconds of Nightfall, and just in case of a future patch, we'll edit this to 20. In a chase, 12 seconds is going to make about as much of a difference as Dissolution. It kind of fits that these are both about the journalist that tried to prevent the Dredge from happening. I bet it's an allegory for a janitor at Behavior who once told his boss to put that gun down. Now if you want, you can always combine other perks to make catching survivors easier. And if I wanted to make a suggestion, I think all of them. The Dredge has insane mobility with pretty much 0 prerequisites. He can even be at generators after they've been completed. Pop Goes the Weasel works, Dragon Grip works, Claustrophobia works, the whole spectrum of generator defense is yours without hold. The better route would almost be choosing perks that don't work on him. Well, since Nightfall is effectively just something that gives you undetectable, I wouldn't advocate for stealth abilities that won't mesh well. Look, alright, I'm gonna be honest with you. Something is off about this killer. It's extraordinarily hard to write about. This killer fills about any role you can want. Map pressure? You got it. Need to shut up an annoying loop? Left click. Want a wacky perk that doesn't really work? Run it. But there's also a smoothness to having everything at once. I can't really be angry that they suck, or do a little laugh when they're good. I don't know. On the flip side, even if they're a hard killer to talk about, I get the vibe that this makes the community happy. Everyone saw that anniversary stream, and could you guys at least wait until the honeymoon phase is over? I want these to be true as much as you do, but let them do the changes before you praise them. Otherwise, I'll be sitting here dotting your eye after another Resident Evil incident. Yes, next time you'll boycott. The anniversaries are cool, but sometimes they get the weird flavor of those munchie videos, where strangers get free dinner then say something really fake about what they just ate. It's the nature of the beast. Developers aren't performers, and performers would annoy me. The Dredge is another Dead by Daylight killer. I do not feel changed or overwhelmed or anything, and I don't think it's that much of the specifics, but something deeper. A bit of me deadened by these cycles. Sure, I'll probably jump at the bones to gnaw on Albert Wesker or Roy Earl, but one of these days those bones are gonna get stuck in my throat. I'm bored. I see something too pure, too talented, too cool, badass, and more. I don't see conflict. And that is why you don't make a self-insert protagonist.